Now, this is a tough topic, and most of the time we don't talk about it. But we've got people across the world that are listening to this program behind closed doors, or listening to it on the internet, and they're afraid somebody might see the trail they're leaving on the internet, that they actually watched this program. We're talking to those folks. We want to encourage them. We also want to talk to the Christians that are in free societies that aren't saying boo about their faith when they have the opportunity. And Dave, you have talked about this, and you've said, what would a commitment to Jesus Christ look like? What is it worth? Okay? Talk about how you presented this to your church and how God actually spoke to you in your own life.
Well, in my own life, as well as the church God's entrusted me to pastor, I began looking at these texts in the New Testament where Jesus is speaking to his disciples. So how did Jesus make disciples? Well, he told them, deny yourself, take up a cross daily and follow me, which we have reverence and respect for the cross today, which we should, but we've got to put ourselves in the shoes of people in the first century hearing that and pick up an instrument of torture reserved for the vilest of criminals. This was a call to die. He said in Luke chapter 14, verse 33, if you're going to follow me, you must renounce everything you have. And Luke chapter 14, verse 25 through 27 before that, he said, if you're going to follow after me, you must hate your father, mother, brother, sister, wife, and children. These are texts that we need to wrestle with. This is the Jesus that we are following. And so even when we think about making disciples, we think, well, let's make as many disciples as possible, which means let's make it as easy as possible for as many people as possible to become disciples, which misses the whole essence of discipleship. We're calling people to die. We're calling people to trust in Christ as more precious and more valuable than anything and everything this world has put together, in such a way that if he were to say, sell everything you have and give it to the poor, like he said to the rich young man, like he said to his disciples in Luke chapter 12, that we would say yes. Because we believe in Christ, we have someone who is worth losing everything for. And so we've got to ask that question in each of our lives. Is Jesus that valuable to us that we will let go of anything, everything that he calls us to let go of in order to follow him? And really to ask that question, we talk about it in the church I pastor, to put a blank check on the table with your life with no strings attached and say, wherever you want me to go, whatever you want me to do, whatever you want me to get rid of, sell, let go of, I'll do it. And this is not radical Christianity or some extreme version of Christianity. This is basic biblical Christianity. This is what it means to be a follower of Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus said, if you die to yourself in all these things, you will actually find your life. It's worthwhile to do this, and in fact, this is what life is all about. And we're not doing anything different than Jesus did. Jesus said he didn't come to be served, which he deserved, but he came to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. All right? And we're to follow him in doing that. And it is worthwhile. If we do this, we'll be living life to the fullest now, and he's promising a reward in heaven for those that serve him there. And I'm not sure we believe that, Dave.
Exactly. I mean, even when I mentioned the rich young man, go sell everything you have, give to the poor. Come follow me and you'll have treasure in heaven. He's not calling this guy away from treasure. He's calling him to real treasure. He's calling him to leave behind short-term pleasures that he can't keep to hold on to long-term treasure that he will never lose. And that's the beauty. And that's why I say, in Christ, he is someone worth losing everything for. He's more valuable. Even when Jesus says in Matthew 13:44, he talks about a man who finds a treasure hidden in a field that he knows is worth more than everything he has put together. And so he goes, and the text says in Matthew 13:44, with gladness he sold everything he had to buy that field. With gladness, with a smile on his face. I'm going to get rid of everything. Why? Because he knew he'd found something that was worth losing everything for. And Christ is that good, both now and for all of eternity. And when we really believe that, then it will just make sense to let go of anything, even the best things this world has to offer us. He's better than all of them put together.